A long time ago, a game called Five Nights at Freddy's dropped, and when it dropped, it made $8.9 million. And after the game dropped, there was a few other games after it that were they good? Hell no, they was not that good. They was not that good at all. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna look back. I decided to go look back and go see some of the other games that I've played before in the past, and some games that I didn't play that were substantially better. And what I found out was that there was a pattern. In this pattern, these games use this kind of fear technique. There are two types of fear techniques that we're gonna go through as you watch the video. These two types of fear techniques are very important for a successful indie horror game. Let's go back and explore some of the games that actually did this thing right, that was very successful at scaring the player and making the player feel like he is going through or she is going through a horror experience, an experience of a lifetime. Let's go look back, shall we? What I've realized after playing some of the older games back then and even some of the games now, I've noticed a pattern. There was a pattern that I've noticed that was two types of games, and there was also two types of horror factors that played a part for a successful horror game. First, you have mascot horror, and then you have actual good horror, you know, the horror that's actually using these techniques to go give the player an actual long-term experience. But a lot of the mascot horror use the same blueprint as Five Nights at Freddy's. Yo, these games are so ass, bro. These games are so bad. And I needed to figure out what was happening. I needed to figure out why. Why is these games so ass? To understand this, jump scares are a byproduct of using the two skills and the two factors of fear in order to give the player the experience. Once these factors are used properly, you can get more jump scares. The player is going through an extreme experience, and he or she is loving the experience as he or she is playing throughout the game. The game is fun, don't get me wrong. There are games out there that are bad, but they can still give player jump scares because the jump scare may have came out of nowhere. But if you immerse the minds of the player, get their bodies involved, and also get their emotions involved, you will have the player shaking. You will have the player contemplating whether or not to keep playing the game or even quitting the game in general. They don't know what to do. They don't know whether the enemy is going to come from above, below, on the side, to the left, to the right. They don't know. This is what gives the player an incredible, genius experience long term. So let's go start off with Subnautica. Subnautica does this very, very well. They have a way of using the environment around you, which is the deep, dark, blue ocean, by the way, as the environment. And you don't know where the enemies are coming from because they're fishes. There are a bunch of fishes that are just dangerous. Sharks, new type of animals that are in the ocean, undiscovered animals that are in the ocean that are ready to kill you on sight. You have to progress by going down deep in the caves in order to get materials in order to survive. And that is the only thing. You have to contemplate for like 10 minutes thinking about going in a cave. That's a big risk to you. It's a huge risk to you that if you don't go in the cave, you may die. You may die not getting the materials that you may need. You don't go in the cave, you are going to survive. You are going to get the materials you need and get the hell out of there. But the problem is you are dealing with too many factors in the ocean that is ready to kill you at any time. These things are not playing, they are on your ass. What do you think this is? This is not your typical horror game. This horror game goes based off the fear of people who have fear of the ocean. If you don't have fear of the ocean, that's fine. But you will be fearful of the things you don't see in the ocean. I guarantee you that. One thing I will say about playing Subnautica, there will be moments like these that you are going to expect throughout the game. You are going to have to fight to survive, and you are going to be scared out of your living mind because the game is using a fear factor that is attacking your mind. It is attacking using the environments around you. It is attacking using your mind because your mind is in constant panic mode and in constant alert mode of figuring out where the enemies are coming from. It can come from any time, anywhere, so you are constantly on alert and you are constantly thinking on panic. If you relax even for a second, they may pop out like this.
Oh shit. This area down here, this shit gets... Oh, fuck! Oh, shit!
Well, let's talk about Five Nights at Freddy. Five Nights at Freddy is a good game. It's a game that started up the whole mascot animatronics horror genre. It's the one that sparked it up, and so we had all these other games pop up in the mascot genre. The problem is with Five Nights at Freddy's is that yes, the game is very successful and very good. It is also very repetitive, which made it eventually boring down the lines when playing it. You see, the whole thing was in the beginning, you had to survive at 6 a.m. Once you got to 6 a.m., then it started to repeat itself. Now you're not playing the game, you're just playing maintenance. You're just playing maintenance with trials. Because if you're not doing the maintenance right, by keeping the door closed at times, or turning on the lights, or even spotting where the animatronics are, then now you are dead. You're simply dead, and there's nothing more you can do about it. Once you get to that point, then the game becomes very repetitive. It's very repetitive, and now it just starts to get to a slow down boiling point to where it's just rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Now the levels may be a little bit harder the more you pass them, but you get the whole point. It's just simply rinse, repeat throughout the whole entire game. But overall, Five Nights at Freddy's is one of the best games of all time when it comes to the Mascot horror. Now let's talk about some of the games that wasn't, like Poppy Playtime. This game, I couldn't play it. I couldn't play it, so I decided to go watch more of it. I didn't think it was worth the money. And just seeing it, it was just doing a couple of puzzles and then you get jump scares. That was literally it when it came to Poppy Playtime. That was literally it. It didn't do any of the horror strategies that we talked about earlier as far as using the person's mind and the senses and emotions. It wasn't activating those things. What it did have a storyline, but the storyline wasn't as intriguing. It did try to go mentally try to involve the player as far as using the environments around them and try to make the game more unpredictable. All you had to do was do more objectives, solve more puzzles, and then there were jump scares. That's really the main thing that I had a problem with when it came to Poppy Playtime. And then you had others that came out that was just simple rinse and repeats of Poppy Playtime. They was doing similar things and it just became boring after a while. It became rinse and repeat. And so it didn't use any of the horror tactics that makes a good horror game. And now, looking back, these are bad horror games. These are not great horror games that actually activates the minds of the player. Five Nights at Freddy's, it did that. What Five Nights at Freddy's did is that in the beginning, not when you play the game over time because it didn't age like fine wine, but what it did do in the beginning is that yes, it did activate the player's mind and emotions. It did activate their senses because you had to go think, whether are you hearing, is the animatronic at the door, is it popping up, is it trying to kill you, is it moving around on the cameras. And you'll get to see that. You get to see how the animatronics just move around on the cameras. You get to see how the animatronics are literally at your door. You get to see how he just pops up, or Foxy pops up, she's trying to rip your face off. There are other concepts that are showing that, okay, like not only is your senses involved, your emotions are involved as well, because you do want to finish the game. It just gets boring after a while when it gets repetitive. But at the same time, now it's starting to use more of your mental when you have to go think, where are the animatronics coming from? And Five Nights at Freddy's did this pretty well. It wasn't exactly perfect, but no game is perfect. Poppy Playtime, not even close. I don't even think this game is even worth the money, and I just at this point recommend don't even buy it or don't even play it at all. I watched gameplay and I sat there like, I can't believe someone paid for this. Someone actually paid for this. Someone actually paid for a jump scare simulator. And if you made it this far in the video, make sure you put down jump scare simulators. Right. So the game that you just saw is a game called From the Darkness. But there's another game that I also want to add here called Silent Still 2. What these games do best is that they use the two fear strategies in order to keep the player invested and also produce jump scares. But this keeps the player invested long term because the players still remember the experiences like it just happened yesterday. The game is just so fucking good and is so very underrated. Silent 2 just dropped and is one of my favorite horror games that I've played of all time because it uses the fear factor mentally, but it also uses the fear factors of your senses and emotions. You were too invested in the game to just quit at that point because now everything is just happening all at once. Okay, no. Oh, it's still, she's still, oh shit. While at the same time, it uses the game mentally of the environment that you are in. Because yes, you may be in the environment that you are familiar with, but you have no control of that environment because you are stuck in sleep paralysis. The lights are still off, by the way. I'm not turning around, bro. Like, I'm peeping it. Like, I'm already peeping she's gonna do something. I don't know when, I don't know where. Shit! Oh, shit! Oh, well, that was another dream? Oh my shit! My gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! As with From the Darkness, You're in an environment you have no control of and you're not familiar with. And then at the same time, there is something in the darkness that is alive and waiting for you. Oh. Oh my. Oh, no, no, no. And that's the photo album, ain't it? That's the out. Oh, he's there. He's there. Oh my gosh. Oh, this nigga's closer. This nigga is close. No! Oh my fucking gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my fucking gosh. Oh my gosh. And it's just unpredictable at times because he pops out in random moments. I promise you, it is one of the most scariest experiences in games you would ever play in your life. And from the darkness, there is a problem that I have with the game that is not as good, but it does make up for it with the experience that the game gives you. But overall, the story is not well polished. There are a lot of questions in the story, that a lot of points in the game that just doesn't make sense and still leaves you with a bunch of questions. Who are the people that used to live in this building? What happened to the people that live in this building? What is this giant man doing in the building? Was he the one that killed the people that used to live in the building? There are so many questions and factors in this game that doesn't get answered. You're an apartment manager that owns the building and you're trying to figure out what's going on. What are all the noises and complaints that are happening upstairs? When you get upstairs, you're stuck. It's like you just enter a different dimension at this point and you are dealing with a giant that is so fast and so big. And then now you figure out the whole apartment itself is alive. And it's just a weird, crazy, hectic, hellish experience that you are going through left and right. And there's no control that you have over it at all. And personally, the ending is just not as good. It's just not as good at all. But overall, it uses the fear factors very well. You would definitely have a great time playing the game, and it would leave you contemplating on whether or not you would want to play the game or not. You're not locked into a horror game unless you have to have a pep talk with yourself for about 10 to 15 minutes about completing the game. That's how you know the game is doing its job very well for a horror game. Now, Silent Hill 2 is a great horror game. It does use these factors very well. Like I said earlier, Silent Hill 2 is about sleep paralysis. It's about a person who is experiencing sleep paralysis to the 10th degree. And what do I mean by the 10th degree? Let's say this, right? You fall asleep and you wake up, but you can't move, you can't talk, you only breathe and you can only look around, but you can't move at all. You only move around with your eyes. But to the 10th degree, you now have an entity that is in your house and that is playing with the lights. She is playing with you. She is torturing you psychologically. Now, she's not just torturing your character. She is torturing you, the player. She is beyond the fourth wall at this point. Whatever this psychological entity is, it is simply after you, not just the character. It's after you. It is making you think and try to predict where this thing is coming from, but no, it is too dark to figure out where she is. She blends into the darkness very well. At one moment she is next to you, she's speaking to you in your ear, then the next moment she's laying next to you in the bed, then the next moment she is giving you the craziest jump scare randomly popping out the blue. What Silent Hill did wrong, Silent Hill 2 did right. Because what Silent Hill 2 is doing is that it's making you question your reality. It's making you question, are you still asleep or are you awake? This is what true horror feels like at times, because you are not in control. Yet you are in a familiar environment. You're at home. But are you really at home? It makes you question a lot of things, and the game is just so good at giving you the experience of a lifetime as far as you contemplating. Again, you are contemplating whether to keep going with the game because it's just so scary. The ending is so good, it leaves you with a bunch of questions, and it also talks about how it's a possibility for a Silent Hill 3. This is my opinion when it comes to the horror games of 2025. The state of horror games are where they're at, the indie horror games, especially in some of the bogus ones that would just copy the blueprint of Five Nights at Freddy's, and they became extremely bad. So these are my opinions. Of course, fear at the end of the day is subjective, so anybody can have fear based on anything. Let me know down in the comment section, what is some of your favorite horror games of all time? What's some of your top threes? What's some of the games that you constantly remember playing? What's some of the games that left definitely an impact on you as you played horror games? If you made it this far in the video, make sure you type in jump scare in the comments. If you made it this far in the video, it'll be very, very appreciated. Again, somewhere on the screen, it should have my Twitch or anything. Make sure you guys follow the Twitch if you want to see me play games live, horror games, 2K, any type of games that I play on live. I just try out many different games in general. Thank you for watching this episode of Jay the Show, and try to follow the family. And we're out. Peace.